Yo, 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 what's up, sports fans? Thank you for coming by the DFS 5-Pack. I'm Ryan. This is Matt. We're here to talk about the Thursday night thriller. I'm saying sarcastically, as the Colts travel to New England, missing their best weapon in T.Y. Hilton, over 10-point dog. So I think thriller might have been a bit of an overstatement. Most of you Yankees fans got to be happy right now as they're leading 2-0, though.
Yeah, although Oakland looms here, as you kind of alluded to earlier in the day, like Oakland has that feel. I don't think they have the same necessary feel as like that of the Brewers, but I think the Yankees need a couple more runs here.
Oh, definitely. I would agree with that. All right, guys, Colts and Patriots. I'll be honest, this game from a real football perspective is a freaking snooze fest. But from a DFS perspective on the Showdown, I like it. I like it a lot. So let's get into what there is to talk about. First off, though, if you are new to the station, best way to get new videos talking DFS, press that red button that says subscribe. And if you're a longtime viewer, you would do us a courtesy of pressing that thumbs up. We really sincerely appreciate that. Helps spread us around the old YouTube machine.
Yeah, it's always appreciated.
If you want to sign up to join the team to get the full podcast for the main slates and things like that, we do an official summary and write-up at the end of the week for all the main slates. We cover baseball, basketball, or football. Just click down, look below in that description section. It'll show you what to do. That helps us pay the bills, and we are talking about the Showdown Captain mode here for the Draftkings like one-game football slates, in case you might be new to this. Want to recover this potential strategy, and I think it works. I don't think you do it this time, but keep it in your back pocket. Paying all the way down to a really, really cheap guy in order to get 5 good players. I don't like it for this slate, but just keep that in the mind in the future. And you'll understand why we don't want to do it here as we go through some of the guys.
Yeah, it's always something to put in the back of your arsenal in case it can apply. It won't apply all the time, but it's something to kind of just put in the back of your mind.
All right. First up, Sony Michel of the New England Patriots. So this is just a flat-out awful spot for Indianapolis. Coming off a deflating loss on the road for Thursday Night Football, we already know how heavily this favors the home team on these short weeks. Doesn't hurt or doesn't help Indy that New England is obviously the superior team, and they're missing their best offensive weapon in the verge of T.Y. Hilton. There's a reason this game has New England favored by over 10 points. This is just a really, really rough spot for the Colts. I think you firmly agree with me, Matt. This game has Sony Michel with 20-plus carries written all over it. They're not deep at the running back position. You know, with Rex Burkhead out, it's not like you want to pound the ball with James White. They really want to get this kid going. I see him with a ton of carries on Thursday.
Same. I think they really try to pound the ball also. Their offense still doesn't look great yet. Miami played for what you call a technical term, a shit game against New England there. I'm not firmly buying what New England is selling in terms of, you know, putting it together yet because they beat Miami. And because of that, I think they just feed Sony here. We've already seen that the past couple weeks. And we've talked about this. It was surprising that New England took a running back in the first round. Of all the teams, you wouldn't expect that. So that tells us that they really like this kid. They're going to do everything they can to get him involved. This screams Michel. I mean, he's my favorite play in this whole game.
Right. Like a lot of times when we see these major point discrepancy, doesn't always work out that way. Last week, Chargers barely pulled it off against San Francisco. Week before, the Vikings really blew it against the Buffalo Bills. We all know that. I just have a lot of trouble picturing Indy being overly competitive in this one. They rank mediocre against the run. They haven't played much in the way of running backs with the exception of Joe Mixon week 1. They're probably a little bit below average against the run overall. I just think he gets a ton of pass attempts.
Yeah, I think we froze. I agree with you. I don't know. Like Indianapolis, like I think this score might be a little bit closer than people think, but I don't think that matters for Michel because I think he just gets his all game.
We have to assume though that Indy's behind.
Oh yeah, I think Indy will be behind. So maybe they lose by 10 points instead of 10.5 or more with the line is. But you know what I'm saying? Like I think that Indy definitely loses and they're playing from behind. But I don't think New England's like running up the score because their offense isn't in sync yet. And I think that helps Michel.
Right. Like I love that Julian Edelman's coming back for him, but I don't expect him to be a major factor tomorrow. The guy hasn't played football in a year and a half. They'll get him some looks, try to get him acclimated for the rest of the season. But I think you're going to see a lot of rushing attempts tomorrow night. And it's nice with Rex Burkhead out, you don't have to worry about the Bill Belichick factor, and that is riding the hot hand from the running back position.
Definitely. I mean, Michel's just the guy they're going to get the ball to.
All right. Naima Hines. The big thing here with this guy, 25 targets in the 3 weeks where Marlon Mack has not been active. Marlon Mack is already ruled out for tomorrow in a game script that screams Hines in this one right here, right? Like, we expect Indy to be down. We expect Indy to be throwing a lot. We expect New England to be sitting in, a prevent to a semi-prevent time of defense. This screams dump-off pass to Hines. I think he's one of the top overall plays on this slate. I love pass-catching running backs. Say that 10 times fast, Ryan. Pass-catching running backs when teams are going to most likely be behind. I think we see that tomorrow. I think he eats from a PPR perspective.
Yeah, I mean, we love that. This is a kid we've kind of had on our radar. At least I've had him on my radar since the beginning of the year. Kind of had him off and on season long, and he ate last week. Made Tyrann Mathieu look foolish in the Houston secondary. So yeah, in a game that New England's that Indianapolis is probably trailing. I mean, regardless, I feel like last week is kind of his breakout, and they have to get him the ball more because who else do they have on offense?
Exactly. I'm even considering him for the captain spot. It allows me to pay up for a lot of other guys. He's going to get looks tomorrow. No T.Y. Hilton. Where else is Andrew Luck going to go? And you kind of operate under the impression that they're going to be sitting back in the shotgun, throwing the ball over and over again as they're, very likely down at least to score for a good portion of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Next up. All right. I have a pretty it's not patented because this thing has been around for a long time, but one thing I preach within the DFS world is the keep it simple, stupid method. Zach Pascal, 2K. He had 10 targets last week with T.Y. Hilton in and out of the game. He's going to get targets again tomorrow. He's a wide receiver for 2K for a team likely to be throwing that's got a pretty good quarterback that completes at the bad wide receivers all the time. This has nothing to do with Zach Pascal and who he is as a football player. It is all about opportunity right here, a cheap price that allows you to get all the other good guys that you want. No T.Y. Hilton tomorrow. He's going to have to throw to somebody. You know what Pascal has to do in order to hit value? Like 3 catches for 35 yards? He had 10 targets last week. I feel pretty good that he's going to get some looks.
Yeah. I mean, and the other thing is you like cash games for these showdowns. I think he might be the most popular guy because of his price tag, right?
Right. Keep it simple, stupid. Don't overthink yourself on this one. This is a guy that could put up a 0. We talked about that theory in the beginning where you can pay all the way down on somebody and it allows you to get all the other good players. Well, this guy could actually be a good player tomorrow. So you're getting all the cap space you want. I expect him to be popular. He had 10 targets last week and he's 2K. This team's going to be throwing. Don't overthink yourself.
Agreed. All
right, Andrew Luck. Going back to what we talked about is the most likely scenario for game script. Like, can you imagine a scenario where Indy gets up 21-0? Like, that's pretty difficult for me to fathom.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I could see them staying competitive more than you can, but no, they're not going to get up 21-0 here.
But your competitive is 10 points instead of 10.5, like you said. Like, they're good.
Yeah,
most
you know what I mean? Like, I don't necessarily firmly believe that New England covers the spread, and that's all I mean by that.
Right? Like, the most likely scenario is New England. It's just such a bad spot for Indy. So what we've seen from Andrew Luck is that he's thrown 40 or more pass attempts in 3 or 4 games this year. My guess, there's a really likely opportunity he does that again. They don't have much in the way of a running game, so they just throw. Do I expect efficiency on Thursday? Hell no, I don't expect efficiency. What I expect is bulk. And give me bulk over and over again because opportunities are what I'm looking for in DFS. He's going to have a lot of opportunities to throw the ball around the yard. His weapons are great. He probably throws a pick or two, but you want to know what? He's going to be chucking the rock. He's going to be adding up yards. And because we get the pay down option with Pascal, like, it's not even like difficult to afford him.
Yeah, agreed. So like on a full slate, I would have like no interest here because I think that New England does a really good job of controlling the ball here and running a lot, like we talked about with Michel. So I think that limits the amount of times that like Indy has the ball. That being said, from what we can go, like the guys we have to choose from here, because it's a showdown slate, it's only one game. Like he's going to throw more. I think he throws more than Brady here by a considerable amount.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Because of that, he's got more yardage and the bulk, while it might not be as many times as he threw last game, because that was kind of unheard of, it's going to be a lot because of everything you said.
They don't even have a running game. Even if they were up, they'd probably have to throw the ball. Like, when was the last time you remember the Colts having a running game? I mean, how long has it been since Edgerrin James was around? Maybe you want to talk about Joseph Adai? Like, they're going to throw. Sure, he was okay. He was really good for San Francisco, and he was okay for Indianapolis, right? Like you weren't afraid of Frank Gore, but he was serviceable, good blocker, healthy in the passing game. But they're going to chuck the rock around the yard, and I agree with what you said. The likelihood that Luck has more pass attempts than Brady, I think, is huge. And you want to know the beauty of this showdown slate? Because of Pascal, you can play both of them if you want to. It's not even difficult.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that that's viable. Because quarterbacks is just the guaranteed path to success.
Right. There's very few times that a quarterback doesn't have a nice floor for you. Now, last Thursday, when we had all those stud receivers in Diggs and Kupp and Woods and Cooks and feeling like you could get away from playing the quarterbacks, not saying that skipping Goff was a good move, but I cashed easily without playing the quarterbacks because of all the good skill position guys. I don't see it that way this week. This week I see playing the quarterbacks is just a smart move. Even though Brady might not have a big game because he doesn't need to, he's still got a nice floor.
Yeah, and this isn't a game like last week where it's going to be like shootout style like that. I don't think so at all. I think there's a much slower pace game.
Definitely. So get Luck in your lineup. It's going to be chucking the rock around the yard out of necessity. That's the most likely scenario. I love cash games for these showdowns, so that's really what I stick the majority of my cash to. And I think playing Andrew Luck is going to be a popular play. It's a logical play. I think a lot of people go there, and it's definitely the safer move.
Makes sense.
All right, guys, you want to join the DFS 5-pack team? Like I said, we cover baseball, basketball, or football. Doing a lot of videos right now because there's not a lot of write-ups to do, but we got NBA regular season right around the corner. Sign on up. Just go through the website. It's pretty simple to do, and don't take it from us. Take it from our customers. We've had a lot of success with these guys. We appreciate everybody out there who signed up. Thanks for watching, guys, and we will see you in a little bit as we talk through the pick'em through the games for this week, which we'll be firing up here in a few minutes, which I know makes Matt happy because he's an avid degenerate sports fan.
Cannot wait, as you can tell over here.
Yeah, he's a true degenerate when it comes to this stuff, so he likes this stuff, and I know most of you guys are too. Hell, I'm right here with you.
Yeah, can't wait.